Well, tankers, the time has finally come. I've abstained from playing the Wiesel until after it's been taken out of the store as a way of doing my part to keep the game enjoyable and not contributing to the rather large amount of pay-to-play players that flooded Era 3 with the Wiesel. Meanwhile, taking away any thunder that the Thumper should have rightfully had, but the Thumper still got its due, and well, now well, both of us, all of us have to wait for the Thumper and the Weissel to eventually come back to the store and become on sale. Now their season is over and we're into the Gladiators. And here I've set up my Mila Jovovich 2D commander for as much concealment as possible, along with making sure to put on track mechanic. A lot of Cold War players don't use track mechanic, and sometimes it's noticeable. And with such a light, nimble tank, if it stops moving, it becomes the main target. Especially with how, unfortunately, it's been deemed toxic, and a lot of players have come to hate the Visal, so they will make sure to focus in on it if they have a chance to. The main takeaway from this playthrough, which is my purpose for doing these first matches, is to show that even with 20,000 or so battles, some tanks are very unique, and the first matches can be difficult, especially if, as this match point really highlighted for me, that I was playing a lot of medium tanks, and that showed. And even though I have the WZ 122, which is a dual gun tank and has the 8 missiles, it is very different from a tank destroyer that only fires missiles. And I've been curious to see how, when this day would come, how it would play. And the truth of the matter was, the Weissel really reminded me of the M1113, which is the Era 2 tank destroyer in the Western Alliance tech tree that only fires heat rounds. But when you get the concealment down, its mobility allows you the advantage of playing it more like you would a World War II light tank, allowing for a lot of spotting assist damage. And that is the main takeaway, because that's really all I was able to pull off here on Cao Bang. There was a lot of movement, nothing I could really sit down and fire on a target, nothing. It's a very mobile game. I was very terrified during the game when I went out of zoom and there was a challenger just hunkered over me, and I'm like, this is an advantage of the tank. You could, well, it can be used as a shield, or it could really help amplify the double tap scenario. Or also, you come around the corner, oh, there's a challenger, hone in on them and suddenly realize, oh, there's a Weissel right there. Uh-oh. So you never know when this little son of a bitch is gonna pop out of nowhere. But again, and also the speed of this tank, literally, it was kind of one of the things of, and shortly here, I'm going to be taking a shot at another Vice at this Weissel right here, and I forgot to lead the shot. I'm not used to missiles so much anymore, and I got to really practice it, but it was one of those moments where, like, the Weissel can be, like, it goes so fast, it can be up, in one spot, another moment, and then the next, so now I'm over here, where you're not shooting, and that is very unique. The lack of a fully traversable turret is also something that caught me out a few times. It still kind of does, because especially if you used to the BMP 2, 3, and Sheridan's, or any other tank capable of firing ATGM, just like you're used to being able to turn all the way around when, you're YOLOing in and going for, the shotgun approach, which is not necessarily advisable with this tank. For starters, I agree with other content creators like Ricky Tiki Tavi in saying because of how light and low armored this tank is, any tank medium or above, especially the main battle tanks, if they so much as touch it, it should basically be obliterated. I've seen clips of a challenger slamming into the Visel, slamming it into a rock. It launches the Visel into the air, and the Visel isn't destroyed until it crashes to the ground. And I really think this tank should be obliterated on contact, especially if an MBT rams it at full speed. Now you can see here, I'm kind of not sure where to go. This Cowbang is not one of my preferred maps, but because of the distances and the ability for enemy tanks to get in and out of cover, I'm really used to having a my boom snout being a cannon, i.e. having a projectile that will at least travel 1,000, 1,200, 1,400 meters per second. So ATGMs start slow and speed up, but sometimes they can be seen, and that is or detected. And it's one of those things like, you really have to pick your shots. And that's where I was really feeling like, you know what? As I'm getting more assists, it's kind of like, well, gee, I should have been spotting more so than trying to find a spot to sit and snipe, which is usually the traditional role of a tank destroyer, and this definitely could still fulfill that role in certain maps, and is something that is really need to be remembered and kind of stuck in the back of your mind, because at some point I really do think this is going to happen. Wargaming is going to institute missile arming distances. It is a topic that comes up fairly often in their weekly assault streams, and over time, especially with Pain God leaving and now BAM 1500 kind of taking the lead, I've noticed a tonal shift in this idea. So I think it's definitely on their list to try out. It's probably going to be a while to be implemented, but it's something to be worried about. It's definitely going to change the dynamic of play, especially with the Visel, as it is the only tank currently that fires ATGMs. It has no secondary gun to back it up. So the BMP3 has the autocannon, which in certain scenarios can be great. In certain scenarios, it can be utterly useless. Sheridan's has that awesome HE derp cannon, so it's got that, and then of course the WZ-122 has its main cannon, T-72s. They all can. Some people don't even bother loading ATGMs on their T-72s or T-62s. They think they're pointless. So I've finally scored a hit, which I'm very proud of, as we near the end of this match. And I was utterly humbled to be like, this is a tank that is only a problem in great numbers. And it was, and it sort of still is, but now that you can't pay to play it, it's gonna be leaving the large numbers will be leaving Era 3. So, especially as other people are like, yeah, I got other tanks to grind, or oh, I've just bought a new premium tank, or they'll introduce a new premium tank, or like, hey, we're all playing around with the AMX30 B24 ad, new seasons, new tanks, forget the old stuff sometimes. Here I am coming up to support this TCM. No, I'm not actually going to support this TCM because it's been obliterated by another Visel, and I'm now kind of like, oh, I'm all that stands here. And here I was trying to do the whole curve the ATGM around the rock and kind of forgot I don't have a fully rotating turret, and that kind of like, oh crap, I've got to move my whole tank now, and that really messed up my shot. I've taken out because I deployed my smoke in the wrong direction. Again, no fully rotating turret. And my assessment of this tank is, in great numbers, it is blatantly, obviously annoying. But when it's one or two and they're in that traditional TD support role, it is fun. It's a fun YOLOer. I know sometimes you tanker just wants to have fun and just drive around like a bat out of hell, for better or worse. But with that concealability, which may also be tweaked later on, just like it was with the Armadillo. So it's it's a fun, unique tank. I clearly wouldn't advise it to everyone. If you are experienced with ATGMs and you haven't gotten this, definitely put this at the top of your list. But for everyone else, just walk away from it. Pass. Find a fun medium. Oh, that said, I hope you keep your treads on the ground and they're RNGs in your favor. And look out for Wiesels. They could be around any corner, or heck, you might not see little brother because big brother scares you more, and little brother packs a major punch. Hope to get you in the next one.